they're like safe lane now, knowing that they probably see like a part. Sorry, God.
I was like, is this thought
No,
gonna
no.
finish, or do I have to pick it up here?
I was thinking they probably just want to show the safe lane because it's like easy. You have a Marcy, she's gonna make your lane really easy. Like Razor on top of this. If this is, I don't know where they want to put it. Maybe they want to put it off lane or carry. Maybe they'll pick another support now to kind of hide that lane.
Yeah.
But knowing you have a Marcy means you can kind of have a little bit of confidence in how your lane's gonna go.
Oh, Clockwork.
Yeah.
I saw him mid Clockwork in Europe.
That was Tundra, right?
Yeah, they stomped the game in 17 minutes.
Holy what?
Yeah, with mid Clock.
Sheesh.
Dude, I love 9. He just plays like the wackiest stuff. He was
What else was in the lineup?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I only heard about the clock. Everyone's talking about the clock.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the danger of this, I guess the one danger for me with the Razor pick is like the Doom 4 plus range offlaner maybe gives Razor a bit of a tough time if you're playing against like a ranged hero. But I guess you still have the Doom to static link if he ever comes to lane.
Yeah, and they have like so much kill threat too if this is a Marcy with the Razor.
Yeah.
Just getting disposed back when linked.
That is definitely a lane.
It's really hard to play into.
Even if it's a ranged hero, you can get on top of them unless it's something with like actual mobility, like a blink or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So I mean I still don't know what Nigma are doing because this Doom could be an off lane or 4. A DK could be a mid or an off lane. They have overall last pick, so I think it's just a case of they see what Talon picks and then they decide, then they pick their hero.
Yeah. You're an offlane player, so you see Marcy Razor. If you knew that was going to be the safe lane, obviously we don't know that. What would you want to play into that lane?
If my 4 is Doom, I'd probably pick Viper.
Okay.
But then I might just die anyway because you just get jumped on by Marcy and thrown in. So I don't know if I'm happy.
Sure. Yeah,
I
there's just nothing good to play into Marcy, really. It
yeah,
sounds like.
it's sad because it's like there are ranged 4s like ranged offlaners like the Viper, like the Visage. I would want to play as my comfort, but the Marcy really just throws a spanner in that because if you're a ranged hero in general, you usually are weak, right? And Marcy takes full advantage of that to put you out of position, and it just makes it so easy for you to die.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know what mobility offlaners exist that don't die to that, because even Queen of Pain, it's like you just force out her blink once and it's on cooldown for like 17 plus seconds or something, and then you can just die again. I have no idea. It's so awkward. Nate is obviously banned too. He probably would have been a top pick.
I know Nightstock is banned, but would you have liked to see that?
I wouldn't have wanted to play into that lane, but I mean maybe, because you can just try and exist, and you recover your farm a little bit when you get your shard. But
Dire team back.
I mean it's not bad, especially since they don't have any hard lockdown for you, and you can, like playing into the Clockwork too, you can just fly out cogs and stuff. You would be a utility hero. You wouldn't be farming.
Yeah. Don't pick something too greedy for the offlane.
Yeah.
So I think the Mars ban is actually like, it's kind of the boring hero, but it makes sense because Mars is one of the few melee offliners that traditionally does okay against Razor.
Yeah.
Even against the Mars. So you can just spear him away and run back to safety.
Is this an offlane clock then? With Grim?
It looks like it.
Hype? Hypers?
Yeah.
I'm hyping?
Would you rather that than seeing the Marcy offlane?
Oh, yeah, I would rather that.
Okay.
I mean,
what if it's mid clock though? Puck it offlane.
Puck it offlane. If it was Nigma Galaxy, I would think that. Well, I would humor that because Mizu plays it, but.
Oh, okay. It's like there's nothing. This lane's unbeatable. Let's just brood and
throwing up in my mouth right now.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. Not for the right reasons.
Think a little bit more on the drafts and pull in Mike and John. Hopefully they've got some thoughts on this. I thought we were just gone for a second. Then I'm like, all right, see ya. See ya.
Peace.
But Mike, share some thoughts with me on if you saw any of this happening for the draft.
And do you guys want to swear too?
No.
Oh yeah, do you guys want to also say
certainly
Do you guys want to say the F word?
Yeah,
We all said it.
Oh, I'm not saying the F word, Mike. We're professionals here, Nat. We're not saying the F word, John and I. Marcy Pos 3, I don't know. John seems to think KP likes this hero on the off lane. I think it's complete garbage. There's a Broodmother on the end now as well, and they've only got a Grimstroke to deal with it. I feel like NGX.SEA are going to force this to a game 3.
John, do you
Fair
want to...
enough. I feel like Talon... Yeah,
Oh,
the
I was
F
going
word?
to say, yeah. Do you want to say it? I'm opening it up now. That is actually what I was
I
going
think
to say.
Talon has a fucking good draft. I think he can make it work. KP's been talking about the Marcy for a while, and you have a pretty good Marcy combination. Marcy Grimstroke is a pretty aggressive lane, so I'm keen to see if NGX can get their pacing here.
Would you guys like to do predictions? No F-bombs, though.
I already used my one for the week. So I
Prediction or F-bomb?
my one prediction of the week.
You're just done talking about it.
And I was correct. They won the game. I hate Brood. I hate Brood so much. So I want to say Talon, but I mean, it's Brood. It's a cheese hero. Anything can happen.
Very quickly, God.
I'm gonna go Talon. Mike, my fellow Aussie let me down. This time I'm going with KP. My other fellow Aussie. Come on,
Well,
KP.
Game 2 is happening. Make sure you watch it because his VOD is probably going to be deleted for too much swearing. But Mike and John, please take it away.
What happened to not swearing, John? I thought we were professionals.
I got peer pressured, Mike. You know, I'm very susceptible to peer pressure. And what isn't pressuring me is Talon's draft, though. Like, you mentioned it. Like, Broodmother, they only really have one great source of clear. I guess Razor can kind of deal with that with Plasma Field in a way, but it does feel like NGX does have a really strong draft. I just feel like Talon are drafting this because they have something in mind. Again, Grimstroke and Marcy lane is pretty aggressive. You get level 2 rebound, dispose along with Inkswell. That is something that NGX are going to have to face against, and it's not a fun time for a Terrorblade there. It's a lot of damage coming through from Talon's end on the off lane, and they can play really aggressive. Even, say, Dream Coil plus Dispose. Just an easy way to break the coil, force these team fights out early. For NGX, it feels like the same story as Game 1, where there's a lot of pressure on Mizu to kind of set the tone of the game. Right, Game 1, he had his Enigma with the Black Holes. This time, he's got to get a strong early start here on the Broodmother, start to overwhelm that Razor lane and Razor Clockwork lane, which can be aggressive with, say, Cog's Battery Assault, but you can deal with sort of as the Broodmother. At least once you hit level 6, it can be pretty annoying. So, keen to see whether or not NGX can get that strong start. I'm looking at Mizu's Broodmama. It's the pumpkin one. It just looks wrong to me. It just looks so wrong.
What's wrong with it?
It's wrong. Like, it's a giant spider with a giant pumpkin.
No,
A ridiculously
pumpkin.
gigantic pumpkin. Yeah, it's got a gigantic. Yeah, exactly it. It has a gigantic pumpkin. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is just another day in Australia. Yeah, I guess it's for you in Australia. It must be normal. If not for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we don't grow pumpkins here, John. Otherwise, the spiders overtake them like snails, and they just start running at us with pumpkins. It's very intimidating, let me tell you. NGX.SEA.
The battle begins.
No, they're not going to go for the fight. And by the way, John, before the cast truly starts, now that I feel left out, I have one thing to say to you, John. And that's fuck you. Enjoy.
This is definitely getting
I felt
scrubbed.
left out. I felt left out. I couldn't help myself.
There you go. You used it in the right spot, Mike. Of course, targeting me as you
wouldn't shut up, John. I was trying to get a bit going, but you just wouldn't shut up. You just kept giving me analysis, which is very rare for you actually doing your job for once. I didn't even hear circles.
There are not many circles here, unfortunately, Mike. I guess Dream Coil and Plasma Field are circles. In a way, Inkswell's a circle. There are some circles, not amazing circles. Still, into the game we go. Looking at our matchup so far on bot lane, of course, you do have Mizu on that Brood, along with Jokam on the support Doom. Hyde already picking up that Battery Assault. I know you're a big fan of the Clockwork, Mike. I'll give you the floor. Why is Clockwork so good right now?
Well, it's not good in this matchup, John. It's against Broodmother. But for now, it should be good. Like, think about this, Jonathan. The hero is already great, right? But now it has a way to actually push out waves and clear some farm. So I think Clockwork is just completely busted right now as a hero. And, you know, before the Spiderlings come out, you're going to have a great time. Like, Mizu, not going to be able to take use of the Insatiable Hunger because Battery Assault. So what are you actually going to do? If you get trapped in cogs with the Static Link just sapping away your damage, Mizu and Jokam, they're basically just screwed, which is why I really like this +5 clock pick.
Yeah, and not only that, but it does give you a way to clear through spiderlings, right? 2 times damage on battery assault. So you can, yeah, I mean, it kind of ruins you in locking anyone down, but the spiderlings are free gold for hide now. So we'll see if that takes effect. Up top, of course, KP and Q on the Grimstroke and Marcy up against Boomboy and In Your Dream on the Terrorblade. And the Bane, this is an In Your Dream special. Of course, the TB is something he's excelled at for a very long time, along with his Luna and his PA. So it's one of his top heroes, I'd want to say. Very strong comfort pick. You do have to watch for the threat from Talon. You already have that early rebound. It can get you really speedy with that move speed buff as well to help you run down heroes. And now you've got the Inkspell combination.
There we go. KP, not going to be able to land the stun though. In Your Dream at the Nightmare dodge out from Boomboy. Nice timing there for the Bane. I suppose we should have a gander at the mid lane matchup as well. How's that going? I think we skipped it all together because it's DK versus Puck, and we all know nothing's going to happen. So I guess there's not much to say about it, John, but do you want to have a quick few words about it?
Yeah, Alacrity's having a better time. Just play with Dragon Tail, it's done. Clear out the creep wave. You won't get harassed out. Double Bracer already up for Alacrity, so it's just kind of set to have a good time. Bracer was nerfed slightly. Doesn't matter for the DK. And Mikado is just going to be working to get what farm he can and work towards level 6. Bottle refills are more important for the Puck. Rune control not as much for the DK, although Power Rune can set the tone. But beyond that, yeah, just one of the more static games in this lane. Static lanes in this game.
A lot of static in this game, Jonathan. In fact, all I can hear is static right now, as you know. Very, very fun time. So 1k net worth lead sitting there for NGX.SEA. Like you mentioned, the DK having a very good time right now. Alacrity just no contest in the mid lane. You do have Makoto still around, but naturally with the DK versus Puck matchup, it's always going to favor the Dragon Knight. We don't really talk about the TB much, but In Your Dream playing one of his specialty heroes, John, on the Terrorblade. Just be feeling very, very good playing this once again. Do you feel like the draft of Talon have what it takes to address the TB? Like, especially once you hit that mid to late game?
I think they do. It's going to rely a lot on a stronger start on the Razor and trying to lock in. They are going aggressive here, though.
Yeah, nice toss back from KP, but a nice nightmare out from Boomboy. Saving the day again as In Your Dream is going to turn around now and try to fight back, but KP still trying. Problem is Q is going to drop to Boomboy. So another great setup here from Boomboy, finding first blood a second game in a row. Q goes down a second game in a row, I believe, for first blood.
Yeah, just a strong start for NGX, and this is what they want from this top lane. Play nice and steady, you don't get caught off from the movements of Talon. Talon under pressure here to try to make some moves with her Inkspell combination, rebound, and starting to reach that point where you don't really have the magic damage to burst In Your Dream. Even if you jump him, the saves are big, and they're going to try again, but he's just so durable right now.
Well, he certainly is. There's your toss back again. In Your Dream in trouble this time around, but the Nightmare is going to save from Boomboy. Very, very hard to actually try and contest In Your Dream while this Bane is around. Problem for In Your Dream, though, is he has no region available, John, so he's making the walk of shame back to the fountain.
Yeah, it's walking back. He's got a courier along with a salve coming out, just a bit too late, so just go for the full reset, come in with a salve, feel a lot better. NGX are starting to find a stronger early game presence. I mean, I guess Savage is having a good time on the bot lane, but that is room for Jokam to try to pressure Makoto mid.
He's going to try now, Makoto, almost running out of mana there. And that was the idea from Jokam, is try to burn his mana so he wouldn't be able to orb back towards the tier 1 tower, but he barely had enough to get the orb out. Of course, Jokam now leaving his brood alone down a bot lane, but Hyde's rotated anyway. On the clockwork, he wants to head into the mid lane and try to make something happen as Alacrity could be targeted. Q makes his presence known with the stroke of fade out from the Grimstroke, but Alacrity, he might be very happy with this, John. He's forced 3 heroes to rotate mid, and he's still getting some decent damage off onto that mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's good timing on that DK. He's extra durable, level 3, Dragon Blood online, so not the easiest thing for Talon to burst down, and just having that solid foundation now on NGX to play off the back of. This is still giving Savage a pretty darn good lane, but you are also giving a free lane to In Your Dream up top with no contest coming out from KP, so it does feel a lot stronger for NGX to start off with. Talon just not able to really find some aggression just yet. It does feel like they're going to have to wait for levels here, Mike. You know, you kind of want more damage coming through from, say, the clock. You want the hook shot to be a constant threat as well, and with Hyde's movement, he's not really able to soak. He's just giving all the room in the world to Savage, and that is one thing with past 5 clock. If you do play selfless, some of your timings for, say, the hook shot, which is just really important for the hero, tends to get a little bit delayed. And that gives more breathing room for NGX without the threat of constant jumps from the puck, from the Clockwork, and even from Marcy.
NGX.SEA still 1 kill ahead. Very slight net worth lead the way of Talon. Get another quiet game thus far, but I imagine this one will go a lot faster than the last game. At least from Talon's end, it does feel like they need to get aggressive much earlier on than last time around. So kind of accepting the fact that the Terrorblade is going to be a bit too much to deal with later on, as well, Nightmare is going to come out from Boom Boy. Onto Q, the Grimstroke in danger, but Inkswell is going to be there. Still, it won't be enough as KP tried to go for the dispose out onto In Your Dream in time, but not quite enough to allow the Inkswell to land. So another kill to go the way of NGX.SEA up at this top lane, and well, bot lane, Savage gonna be chased down. Spiderlings are up for Mizu. Savage copping a fair bit of damage here as Mizu just gonna keep the chase going. He needs some help right now. Savage has it on the way as Q is gonna show up, and Savage, he might try to turn around. Plasma Field is out. Mizu still trying to get him low though, and does get the spawn Spiderlings. The Broodmother eventually able to secure the killers now. It's onto Q, onto the Grimstroke for a second. Mizu, he'll have his way with them. A great double kill there for the Broodmother down at bot lane, and there's just nothing Talon could do about it.
He didn't have hide around, still roaming around, no TP on him as well. So a nice commitment onto the bot, knowing that the supports were just leaving at Razor alone, as it was having a good time earlier on, but you hit that level 6. Onto Mizu, not much the Razor can really do to stop that. You can just fully commit. Savage does have level 3 Plasma Field, so there is some good damage coming out, but all you have to do is drag the Spiderlings forward, and you can't really deal with that as Razors are already, again, a strong start here for NGX. Early game of Talon not shaping up, and that is a worrying sign. You mentioned it, but their lineup does want to go a little bit faster here. Did you find In Your Dream?
They do find In Your Dream. Makoto able to take him out solo. TB getting caught with his pants down in the dire jungle, and Makoto has his way with him. Not great news for NGX.SEA, as that's actually going to be the first kill out for Talon this whole game, and of all people, it's onto the pause 1 of NGX.
It's a big kill to take, so just kind of trading your pause ones feels really nice for Talon. It's also a very important kill for Makoto to find, considering his slightly slower start on mid, making that rotation top now.
Onto the Bane they go. KP gonna show up, and it should be a nice easy Bane kill. It should be. Boom Boy gonna make it a little bit more challenging, but eventually they do get it. You seemed rather annoyed about how that the dispose landed, or rather the rebound landed, John, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it just stops mid-cast apparently if Makoto shifts out, so a little bit awkward.
He's got nothing to rebound off to.
I suppose the puck does go off into the fairy realm, so you know, no body to actually jump off of, but just kind of interesting to see that. Meanwhile, NGX do manage to find that bot tier 1 with Mizu. Mid still being pressured by Alacrity, still no solution for that DK. Savage forced to show up mid as well, so he's kind of forced to kind of try to control that lane, try to contest and go for the defense, but you've got the 2 supports of NGX camping behind, and the tower's just set to fall.
Hyde, he's going to show up as well on the clock, but doesn't have that level 6 mark yet. We'll have to wait for that 10-minute term as, well, Hyde, she's running up the river. I'm not sure about this Hyde. He's got the cogs up, but Boom Boy going to go for the Nightmare out. Hyde is going to be able to run his way out, but he's not going to be able to set up for the 10-minute power rune timing now as Q in danger again. Mizu, he's going to show up with the Spiderlings, but Savage does clear them out as now Chokam has gone a bit too far on the Doom and may end up paying for it. Savage able to take the kill, and here comes KP with the rebound and the dispos trying to fight back, but he doesn't have the ultimate. It's going to be a hard team fight to take for KP. Still Makoto now going to show up with the Dream Coil available, going to try and chase down Alacrity. He does find the Dragon Knight, and that's going to be a double kill to go the way of Savage. So the team fight does work out in the favor of Talon eventually, and the NGX.SEA, they had some moments of brilliance there, but ultimately could not pick up a kill.
Yeah, Hyde was just so good with his positioning, popping off the cogs, forcing them to focus and redirect their movement, giving him enough time to go onto the high ground and get the backup of his team. NGX do manage to find a mid-tier 1 in that period though, so they're clearing out the objectives, they're opening up the map. Mizu can start to take over now on the Broodmother. And as you pointed out earlier on, Mike, their wave clear for the Brood Spiderlings is not quite there. And Mizu, what he loves to do with the Spiderlings is micro onto camps and block. So you're not going to have too much farm to spread around on the bot jungle anymore with Mizu's micro kicking in. could be a bit troublesome in terms of trying to get that early build-up they want onto Savage and Mikado. And the tempo for Talon, if it does get thrown off, NGX this time does feel like they have much better late-game scaling. Like, you've got the TB, you've got the Brute, even the DK with the Ags build-up down the line is going to be a big nuisance. And once the BKBs are up, you're going to have to wait for Mikado's 25 to really have that control. You could try with a hookshot of Hyde. That's only a single target you'll be able to pin down. And the side of Talon are just going to be kept waiting a little bit more if they do get caught off with that early spell immunity NGX might be going for.
It just feels like there's going to be pressure on Mizu, though, like in the meantime, right? Because he's top of the net worth board right now. You haven't really got a TB that's ready to fight, and he's quite behind in net worth at the moment as well. So does feel like Mizu and Alacrity are going to have to put a lot of pressure on the map to make that space for In Your Dream. So you are going to hit that mid-game timing soon enough where Talon will start to run at you. And that could be a very concerning sign for NGX.SEA once it does start. And more importantly, John, KP on this Marcy, right? Like, he's going to buy this blink up. What do you buy after that? Like, what does offlane Marcy actually do?
Normally, you want some durability, you want a BKB down the line. I don't know if you still go for the armlet. I feel like going for the blink means you're not going for armlet, so it's into BKB. And then the options are pretty open. You could go for, say, a Basher for some utility in the middle of these fights, using that Unleash. You could go for some more defensive items if you feel like you're going to need a Dispel. Let's say a Lotus Orb could be nice. Desolator if you want to kind of rip through the DK. And the Turbo Blade a little bit better if you feel like your damage is lacking. Lots of options. I think the best choice is definitely BKB after Blink. Beyond that could be tough. And speaking of KP, you chased.
Yeah, top lane. Doom's going to be committed. Jocam is going to commit the Doom, but they can't catch him. KP's fine. Meanwhile, towards the bottom side, Hyde ends up throwing his hook shot out, but is blocked off by Makoto. So both teams kind of screwing up with their initiations, both side lanes. And I suppose it's kind of worse for NGX.SEA because they commit the Doom, but it doesn't really feel like it's going to matter anyway.
Yeah, it's not the biggest loss in the world. You're not going to be taking too many fights from NGX's end. I mean, we saw them in Game 1 play a much more defensive game, and they are kind of opting to do the same here, whereas it's Talon that needs to be on the offensive. They want to play with that hookshot threat. They want to play with a Dream Coil whenever it's up on Makoto and try to find some kills. Tip out onto Mizu, just being really annoying, I suppose, with the Spiderlings blocking. Like, every camp has a Spider almost, and just preventing the build-up. They are starting to be aggressive to Jocam, though.
Yeah, KP gonna jump in, does pop the Unleash as well, and it's gonna be a nice easy pick-off. I suppose this offlane Marcy might actually be a thing. Like, the way he is able to initiate so easily, even without the blink, it's kind of concerning here for NGX.SEA. And now with the blink up, it's gonna be much easier for him to just initiate and just kind of rebound back out of it.
Yeah, it's just going to be easy for Talon to start getting that combination off. They've got a lot of mobility with, say, a Clockwork Puck coming in. Even Marcy now with the blink is going to be very easy to follow through. Try to get that Dream Coil break with the Dispose if you want to go for that kind of play. And Talon are starting to find some early timings. It still feels pretty good for NGX. You mentioned In Your Dream having to catch up. He's overtaken Savage at the least, and is up there among the top net worth, so going to be able to build up further and further on that Terrorblade. The late game for Talon still feels a little bit dicey, and it does feel like they have to keep that aggression up, at least for the next 5 to 10 minutes. They need to keep trying to look for single pickoffs, try to not get choked out by the Brood controlling most of the map, and get that build-up they want on Savage. Get that BKB into Lincoln's refresh. Once you have that in the Razor, it does feel pretty good, but it takes some time for Savage to get that farm up, and NGX has done a really good job of making it tough here.
They have. You see Mizu kind of just abusing the Spiderlings as well. Like, he just keeps splitting them up all across the map, just getting all this vision, blocking camps in the Radiant Jungle, just being very, very annoying. But top lane, Talon looking to jump in again, are going to spot out Jocam, but is that really the target they want? Not that easy to get. In the meantime, Hyde it's going to get caught out on the Clockwork, so it seems like NGX.SEA are going to pick themselves up a free kill as Boom Boy not going to hesitate. But in the meantime, Mizu ends up dropping mid lane, and well, Talon now, they have an open T1 tower to take.
Yeah, much bigger kill coming out from Talon, forcing a response up top and forcing up the grip onto a support, not the ideal target. They don't manage to really go for that mid-tier one, and Your Dream's now around for a little bit of a defense. That is enough for Talon to kind of pull back, but they get the juicier target in that Broodmother. We mentioned it before, Mike. It does feel like Mizu needs to pick up the pace here for the team, really be the distraction. He has managed to get the distraction going, but not much is being taken off the map. you are still sort of keeping up in Talon. They are starting to lag behind a bit. You do have that itemization you need on NGX now. BKB up on Lackety, Blink up on JoeCam flying out now. So you've got the initiation, you've got some mobility to play with and catch Talon off guard. We'll have to see if they're willing to commit anytime soon. At least Blink Doom is going to be big from JoeCam. Allows you to maybe pick off something like the puck very, very easily among the bigger targets to go for. And just, you know, buy that space out for In Your Dream. Just the Dragonlance Yasha right now, working towards his Manta, I believe, into the Scotty, or just straight up Scotty here. And once you have that, your Terrorblade feels pretty good. Lots of stats, not much burst on Talon's end. And Talon, I mean, they're really just getting what they can, applying some pressure. But it just doesn't feel like they're answering this Terrorblade all too well. In Your Dream's still given free reign, and that's still the primary concern here.
Dire's top tower is
It is. In Your Dream, still freely farming up, almost second in net worth now. Still fighting against 23 Savage for that spot. Savage working towards the Lincoln Sphere into the Refresher Orb, of course. Very standard build up here for the Razor. And then NGX.SEA again, doing a great job of delaying the game, as now with a big smoke out, they might have Savage. JoeCam, no, it does not get the stun off. Savage gets the BKB in time, and now the turnaround. Alacrity gonna pop his own BKB and try to go for a run. Has a TP available if he does want to commit it, but he's not doing so yet. Hyde will hook shot in. Alacrity surely no way out now, as he does get pushed by the cogs and taken out. In fact, they've even got the coil out onto the Broodmother. Mizu getting caught, surely no way out himself, and it doesn't seem like it. KP is gonna take a double kill on the Marcy. And for Savage, John, I mean, they broke the smoke, they kind of hesitated with the blink, and it was just too easy for him to get the BKB reaction off. Though now he may have kind of screwed up Savage. Too easy for In Your Dream this time.
Yeah, probably not expecting them to come back around. No wards dropped behind. Just playing a little bit too forward in the wave and does get punished. They do manage to find him at tier 1. Does still feel like good trades coming out for Talon overall. They might get punished a bit here.
They may. JoeCam gets stunned up with the Ink Swirl. Makoto making to jump in with the double damage rune and the Doom. JoeCam is going to drop. NGX.SEA still finding something more for their trouble. Net worth, it is still very negligible though, John. Hardly any net worth advantage for either side. So a very close matchup for game number 2 in this game. But again, like you mentioned, In Your Dream, he's still free farming on the TB. I have Scotty coming out next. Terrorblade is starting to get pretty scary.
Yes, the damage output is getting a bit too high. The stats, his EHP is going to be through the roof, and you still have no solid answers from Talon. Feels like every single time In Your Dream will be there, he's going to be able to live through a lot of what Talon will want to do, even without something defensive here. No BKB until later on. So Talon's window is like jumping Terrorblade, keeping the chain stuns onto him, and trying to get him bursted down while he's stunned up. But easier said than done, considering the output of Talon's lineup right now. Just not the highest damage output so far. Hyde can be able to TP out at the very least, force a scout out where Mizu's playing right now, and give Savage room to back off safely. We're slowly reaching the point where Savage is going to have Lincoln's up. Protection out from the Doom, protection out from the Grip is going to be nice. So either one's going to have to be cancelled off on that Razor if they do overcommit. And you also have Q's Blink up now, so he can follow through with the initiation. He's working towards his own Ags for the Dark Portrait. Could be one way of using that Terrorblade against the side of NGX. We've seen that Dark Portrait be really impactful up against these heavy scaling cores, and that is one way for Talon to sort of keep up against that Terrorblade farm.
They are still keeping up. Like, they're not too far behind. Again, Savage, I suppose once he has the Refresher Orb up, he's going to feel a lot more confident trying to force the fight with his team. He's still trying to go for the Lincolns up first, though. Speaking of Talon, by the way, John, I couldn't help but notice you had some kind of Jollibee dinner with them or lunch with them, Jonathan. Do you want to... Is there anyone to snitch on, John? Anyone do anything stupid during your little lunch?
No, unfortunately not. There were some strong opinions about the palabok, which granted was actually not that good because it was extremely cold. And KP kept giving out trees, went for pie at some point in the score. As they are going for that smoke, breakout on KP, so Mizu backs off, using those webs really well. Aggression from Talon not quite lining up, just like their expectations for Jollibee didn't quite line up, Mike.
Very good segue, John.
They didn't enjoy the palabok that much. They did enjoy Chicken Joy and the Jolly Spaghetti. Palabok is like this Filipino noodle. It's I believe it's called rice vermicelli noodles. I think that's the best approximation. And the sauce is made of like crushed shrimp heads. So it's like maximized food as they go for a jump onto Hyde.
Yeah, Hyde goes for the hook shot. Does force out some TPs here from NGX.SEA, but eventually they are just going to back their way out anyway. You told me KP ended up rating something pi, like 3.14 or something like that.
Yeah,
John.
he went like 5 digits of pi or 6 digits
Only 5.
off the top of his head. I don't know.
Embarrassing.
Oh yeah, here we go. Mike LaPhoenix, the mathematician, knows up to how many digits, Mike? 9 digits of pi?
I think it's 9 digits, yeah. Very good memory,
beautiful.
John.
Could you rattle it off for us right now?
3.141592654.
All right, Mikey. There you go. You got KP beat. I think he made it up to the 6. So like
Get it
5,
together,
6
KP.
digits of pi.
Get it together, KP. How embarrassing.
What's with you Australians and pi? Memorizing pi. Like, why? Why? You just... In our maths, you know, our teacher's like, yeah, you know what? If you need pi, just press it in your scientific calculator. You don't need to memorize that far in with the digits for our calculations, you know? And we're Asian, man. You know, this is our territory. Why do you guys memorize it? What's the point? It's on the calculator. Press the pi button.
Yeah, the thing is, John, we're all very bad at math here, right? So it's the only impressive thing we can do within math to kind of get the smile on the teacher's face, you know what I mean? So it's like remembering a mobile number here. Like, I guarantee you, they'll remember to 9 digits because it's like a mobile number. Wait, is a mobile number 9 digits? No, it's 10 digits. No, you get my point, John. You get my point. You see, we're terrible at math.
Fair enough. What's not terrible here for NGX is that they are going for the Roche. Very sneaky play, but there was vision down from Talon, so they go for the smoke out.
But they do. Roshan still going down, but they are backing off. KP looking to jump in. Boom Boy gonna get spotted out immediately with the ward placed down. They've got the vision. Boom Boy is gone. The Talon, so far so good in terms of interrupting the Roshan happening, but I highly doubt they can make their way in to try and counter Roshan and take it themselves. Problem is, you're always going to have the Spiderlings kind of scouting out for the team of NGX.SEA, so it's going to be very hard for Talon to try and jump in there themselves and get it done.
Has been killed.
NGX.SEA, they might go for a bit more though. Blink is still up on KP as Hyde. Does also have the hook shot. Not going to be thrown out yet though. In fact, Hyde spent his time getting a D ward off. But that's allowed enough time for the Bane to be back up now. So Boom Boy is going to rejoin his team. And it seems like they might have to try again here.
Yep. They are still scouting out what was Spiderlings out from Mizu, keeping a good eye on that high ground from Talon's end. And NGX with a vision advantage are going to go for a smoke play. Maybe try to Roche, maybe try to look for those pickoffs first.
Well, they're going to have to go into the high ground of that Radiant Triangle, and that they will. Alacrity, the first one up. Hyde going to be spotted, but instead they'll make the jump in onto the Marcy. KP going to be saved by Hyde, who does hook shot in. They have not got anyone yet on the side of NGX.SEA. Boomboy at least catching Hyde with a nightmare, but still no follow-up damage. And now with the Soulbind, they might counter-fight here. So they do make the jump in. Makoto getting the BKB forced out by Alacrity. As Savage is going to back his way out. They might just force the meta to be wasted, but now, or rather KP, is going to get caught out on the Marcy. So you've at least got something for your trouble. And NGX.SEA, with the bit of time they have left with this Terrorblade and the Metamorphosis, they're going to try and rush Roshan.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of openings here, but you always have the flare coming through from Hyde to give vision. Gonna be a bit tough jumping in, but they've got the Dream Coil ready in Mikado if they want to make a play. And NGX, knowing that, do back off in the nick of time. They find one kill. They still can't commit for Roshan. Talon gonna be more than satisfied with that. They hold on to the BKB use of Savage in the middle there. They did have to pop the Soulbind, and they didn't really get the best use out from Savage, trying to go for the max range static link, but they don't lose too much else outside of KP's Marcy, which already did what it could there. And that moment to reset for Talon could give them the opportunity to look for more plays. They've got Hookshot back off cooldown, KP's back up. They could go for pickoffs here.
They may, but the hookshot's off the mark. Nice little juke out from Alacrity as he will jump into the tree line. Hyde knows he's around there. He does know he's around, John, but he didn't press Q.
Yeah. Or even just cogs to push back. Yeah, didn't try to go for that play.
Oh, it's upsetting for me as a clock spammer, John. You gotta understand these things. You just press Q something. You just try. Just try.
Yeah, misses out on the opportunity. NGX not going to be baffled though. They're going to be very happy with that dodge out from Alacrity, forcing out a couple of spells there from Hyde. Not the longest cooldowns. Should still be able to get that hook ready for the next engagement. But NGX are still holding on to this game really well. 2K lead, #1 net worth now on In Your Dream. Scotty up, BKB next, and once that BKB's up and terribly, like we mentioned earlier, Mike, the spell immunity is going to ruin a lot of what Talon wants to do in the middle of these fights. We're still a long way from Mikado hitting level 25, so Dream Coil's not going to hold. You have nothing to really pierce through the BKB outside of maybe a good Soulbind coming through here, and that puts a lot more pressure onto Q, who is saving up for the Ags really nicely. Still keeping up the forward position here though, Hyde.
Getting caught by JoeCam, but are they really going to try and go for this? Like, he'll put the cogs down, he'll just fly away with the jetpack, and they can't do much about it. This is where the Broodmother starts to feel a little bit more useless, right? Like, you're not able to lock anyone down. He's got a Wraith Pack, which is kind of nice, and you can keep scouting out with the Spiderlings, but that's really about it. Still a lot of damage to be pumped out from this hero, but we haven't really seen so much of it. But I suppose for Mizu, he's still just done his job of allowing In Your Dream a bit of a free game here on the TB. I still kind of wonder, Savage seems very confident with this Razor to drag this out to the later stage of the game, and he's going to have a Refresher Orb on the way soon enough. I wonder if this TB is actually going to be able to deal with this Razor.
I think it still can. Like, your output with Metamorphosis is still amazing. BKB is still going to save you through a lot of control from NGX. It's going to be all about position here for In Your Dream, and he's been pretty good with that so far in the game, only getting caught off guard once early on. He's never running into these fights first. He always waits for commitment from Talon, waiting for Savage to static link something like DK or Doom first, and giving him all the room in the world on the Terrorblade to get what he wants. They are starting to poke and prod at Roshan once more with a DD on hand as well. And Dream's going to be picking that up, and that should speed up that Rosh. Talon not quite in position to contest, and all the Spiderlings are out for vision here.
Yeah, this time around they might just not bother. Rocket Flare's going to give the vision. We'll see how fast they want to react. Roshan is still going down very quickly here to In Your Dream as Talon try to make their way over. So Orb will continue to give some vision information over, but they've got to make the hook shot in. There it is, but it's blocked off. Who got it? Alacrity is the one to block him, but Makoto, he's jumped in and snatched the Aegis away from NGX.SEA. They've got nothing. They'll try to force the fight anyway. KP's out of there though. Savage, he'll keep the fight going, but might drop. And he does. So they find 2 for their trouble. They are forced to buy back on the Doom. But the Aegis will go the way of Makoto.
Yeah, I think you're more than satisfied in Talon's end. Not having that secondary life in Your Dream makes him a bit of a target here, and Mikado can choose to go for bigger plays. He is down a couple of key heroes to try and getting those plays for the Aegis up. Just gonna have to wait for that respawn. And for NGX, I don't think you mind too much. You kill off Savage, you get the gold building up on In Your Dream. Buyback and JoeCam, not the biggest deal. Ardoon's pretty farmed up with a Blink and Force Staff, feeling really good already for JoeCam to just get the initiation off. Just working onto that Aeon Disc next, and not too much longer to wait for that. So you're perfectly happy on NGX. You maintain that 4K lead. You're still playing your defensive game well. Talon, their aggression, not quite lining up in the ways they'd want to fully. I mean, yeah, secondary life on Mikado. They've got to make use of it somehow, and I don't see NGX giving any openings. Just the vision coming out from Mizu has been big in cutting off most of these smoke ganks. And whenever Talon group up, they're always grouping around 2 or 3, which is just not enough damage for a lot of these highly durable heroes in the front line.
Hyde? Oh, they found out the Bane once again. Dream Coil even committed just to make sure they can secure this kill. JoeCam, though, is showing up, trying to go for perhaps a Doom onto Makoto. No, the Lincoln's wasn't broken. Oh, it was, but he just never got the Doom out. I was going to say, it did look like he did use the fake grenade to get that Lincoln's broken. He just decided not to pop the Doom. So Makoto, he's just more than fine to walk out of there. And I suppose even if they pop the Doom, to be fair, he has Aegis, and chances are he just walk away anyway.
Yeah, 2 lives in a puck makes it pretty hard to commit that big spell. You'd want it on the secondary life instead. And they just go for the easier kill on Hyde, get the punishment off. And the stall time for Talon, though, has sort of paid off. Q does have the Ags up. So you do have that Soulbind Dark Portrait combination. If you catch something like, say, In Your Dream plus Alacrity in the middle while he has Dragon Form up, that can turn the team fight for Talon. So the investment in Q should pay off. It's going to be down to his positioning. Has a lot of options with a blink up on his pause 4. And Savage is still managing to build up. Refresh is almost done, just lacking one more perseverance, about 800 gold away. And once you have that, double BKB, double Eye of the Storm, double Static Link, it's pretty tough to deal with a Razor. They're going to have to focus in a lot on Savage, and that's just going to give room for, say, Mikado and KP to just jump around, do what they want with, especially with KP's BKB already on.
I'll tell you what, John, I thought this game was going to be the fast one, but it's still going a lot slower than the last one did. Both teams again, just... I suppose for Talon, they've got to find a way to address Mizu, because he's just continuously creep skipping with this Broodmother, and in your dream, of course, being given all the space in the world to keep that farm going. He's working towards his own Lincoln Sphere now. There's the Refresher Orb up on Savage, though. Even going into a Lotus after that, but they are going to go for a smoke this time. Aegis timing still available on Makoto. 1.5 minutes on that Aegis. Or Region Rune even going to be found out here. Mizu needs to back off, but KB, a very nice disposed back as Alacrity. Going to try and make the jump in, but the Soul Bind going to hold him down. Hyde looking for a bit more as Alacrity's just being completely ignored, but now they'll turn onto him without the BKB. Even in your dream showing up, but can he take the fight? He's going to man fight Savage. Savage, he'll stand his ground and keep going. In your dream, completely surrounded. A nice Fiend grip on the KB, but now in your dream's in trouble. The Terrorblade being saved by the Nigma beneath Asunder. He'll commit it onto Mizu as they do take down KP. Onto Makoto they go. They want a bit more. They might just find Hyde instead. Oh, the Sunder just coming in right at the nick of time. Triple kill out for In Your Dream. And a 4-hero wipe on the side of Talon.
And he managed to make it work on the side of NGX. Talon jumping pretty hard and trying to find those kills to at least force the buyback on Mizu. One important thing for NGX that lined up there was, oh, Mikado's not done.
He's not. He's still got the Aegis up, John. 30 seconds left on that. So just kind of poke and prod at Mizu and just clear out that creep wave. Make sure they can't get anything in that mid lane. But In Your Dream's already setting up for the bot tier 2 tower. Whether they commit or not is a different question entirely, but they are continuing to just keep that farm going, I guess, for In Your Dream. Even with that one team fight, he just doesn't care. Just back to farming.
Yeah. To get that build up on In Dream, he's really starting to scale way further than Razor at this point. Very important thing for NGX. In the last fight, they took care of Q before he got Dark Portrait off. He didn't commit it onto the DK while the DK was linked up onto the Broodmother. He really wanted that Terrorblade illusion. Dies a bit too early for that, and without that Dark Portrait early on in that fight, it just felt like the damage was lacking. They almost had In Your Dream, almost is not enough. And NGX just managed to hold on. So for Talon, it feels like the game does get harder and harder as the game, drags towards that late game. Razor scaling is still good, but to get your combinations off feels a lot tougher. Now, when you do hit level 25 on Mikado with the BKB piercing Dream Coil, that's when things feel maybe a little bit more manageable here for the side of Talon. You're also working towards a basher here for KP, so jumping onto the Terrorblade and just getting more disabled off is going to be a little bit easier to do through his BKB as well. Those could be tools for Talon to try and, reel it back a bit, but it's still a lot harder. NGX, their conditions are easier. They've got great team fight. They've got great single target control with the Doom, with the Bane, with the DK. Great damage coming through from In Your Dream. It just feels a lot easier to find that win condition.
Oh, Makoto, he's playing with fire here, John. NGX.SEA, they are around. Joe Camp, not able to land the stun. Makoto seeing that, will pop the haste, but still goes after the Bane anyway. He'll make sure he will get what he came for, as now he'll make a run for it. Mizu, he'll be on the chase as the Brood, but with the haste rune going, there's just no chance Makoto's getting caught. He's fine.
Just a bit of a hit and run, getting solo EXP, very important for a puck, about to hit level 24, and that level 25 starts to become a bit of a grim reality for NGX. They're going to have to deal with BKB piercing Dream Coil sooner rather than later, and I think that's going to be the key for Talon to really get a swing back in this game. NGX, it doesn't feel like they've been able to get the objectives they want with this sort of lead, right? The bot tier 2 still stands. They might be able to commit to it now with Alacrity popping his dragon form. Doesn't look like Talon's going to go for defense, but they're also looking for a trade up top anyway. So they're going to equalize that tower loss and equalize map control, just not giving too much of an edge out of NGX. And despite, again, having a lineup that just feels stronger at this point going forward, they still only have a 4K lead. They've not been able to grow their net worth lead as much on NGX. Talon's been able to keep up to a certain extent. And all the gold is actually just pouring into In Your Dream. Alacrity, Mizu aren't getting as much here in comparison to the Terrorblade.
Oh, Hyde looking for a hookshot opportunity. Does go with the jetpack, trying to find that right target. Arcane Rune going to be picked up by Makoto as well, so it could be a great team fight here for Talon and NGX. They sense this. They do back off at that right moment once again. Not willing to risk it. They still hold that 5k net worth lead and see no reason to throw that back the way of Talon. And it can happen as quickly as that. One bad team fight for NGX, and it does shift the other way. You're really going to give props to Makoto here on the puck for even keeping Talon in this position, John. He's just been doing such a great job of keeping all the lanes split push out. And well, NGX.SEA, they are going to go for a big smoke up now. Even despite the Vice available on Makoto, or excuse me, rather Mizu. It's KP going to break the smoke. Immediate blink out. Can they catch? It doesn't seem like it. Maybe Hyde gets caught out. So they do get the slow onto him. Mizu make the jump in with the Silken Bowler. Hyde should eventually drop and does. Savage does show up, but of course will not be initiating without his clockwork. And we do find out, John, that Roshan, it is going to spawn out in about a minute 50 seconds.
Yeah, a bit longer respawn. Favorable for Talon and getting at least that respawn of their own on Hyde, ready to go and just start another big fight in the pit. Last time around, Talon did manage to snag away the Aegis. Let's see if they can try to pull something off again. It just feels like NGX's position is a lot stronger. We haven't seen them fully commit any of their big spells anytime recently as well. Doom's still ready. Grip is ready. Dragon Form from Malak, he's just popping it to farm. And even he's about to have his Ags in... about now. The gold's just right there. So he's going to have Ags ready for the next team fight. Black Dragon Form on hand. More damage output coming through from Alacrity. And a little bit more mobility as well with free padding. So Talon's got to watch as those start to line up. They do have level 25 on Mikado though. Spell Immunity Piercing Dream Coil is up, or Spell Immunity Piercing Dream Coil is up, and that does simplify the engagements for Talon a heck lot more. Makes it easier to catch something out like Terrorblade, catch up to DK, get some punishment going. And we'll see how willing Talon is going to be to start to commit. As everyone's up, next Roshan 40 seconds, not too much time left. NGX also keeping an eye there. And feels like we're just going to reach this point here, Mike, where both sides are just going to camp their high ground and wait for Roshan, see who overcommits.
Yeah, still 16 to 15. 5k advantage still stands here for NGX.SEA. NGX.SEA taking their sweet time. Keep in mind that Dark Portrait going to be very annoying now for NGX.SEA to try and deal with. Like, you get that TB illusion. It's just so much damage being pumped out. So you can try to focus that down, but in the middle of a chaotic team fight, it can be rather difficult to get that done. The Roshan is about to spawn up now, so both teams understand what they're playing for here. So it's going to be a smoke out. Talon will be the first ones to pop their own. Yet it's kind of hard to take Roshan without taking a fight here for Talon, because you're always going to have the Spiderlings to give vision. NGX.SEA, they do sit back in the dire jungle for now, but they make it run right into as Makoto is going to see In Your Dream. Rocket Flick going to give the vision. Makoto, he makes the jump in. He wants to Doom first, but he doesn't make the Dream Coil committed. In fact, now he gets stunned up. Alacrity, he finds the puck. KB, too far into the backside. Now needs to be KB TP up, but he's not going to make it either. The only thing they found is Boom Boy on the Bane. And NGX.SEA now, with 2 heroes down, they can rush the Roshan pit.
They've got a lot of time left in that metamorphosis. Talon in a very awkward position now to try and contest. They could try to go for a play here on Hyde, as he still has the hook shot and has a good angle for it from the opposite side of the river. Bit tough to commit though. Don't want to give that secondary life to In Your Dream for free here. And see if they'll go for the play, but Hyde does opt to step back and just clear out the creep wave instead. So not going to be able to counteract this one. Great moves out from NGX. Instant stuns out onto Mikado. He's not even able to get off that Dream Coil. And without that big team fight spell, it just falls apart for Talon. Secondary life up on In Your Dream. High ground does open up. They have to eat through some tier 2s first on top and mid. Once they clear that out, the defense for Talon gets a bit tough. Dream Coil is nice, but it does feel like dealing with 2 lives and terribly, dealing with a potential Doom coming out from Jokam is still way harder for Talon to hold up against.
On your dream, gonna start that top tier 2 tower push now. Talon. They don't seem like they're ready to try and force a fight again. In your dream, just proving to be way too big on this TB. Daedalus up now to make matters worse. If you are a Talon fan. And a double life on In Your Dream.
Radiant's top tower
Gonna be a heck lot of damage in that next team fight.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, for Talon, seems like they are trying to finish off this AC on Savage, but even with that, the bonus armor, it's gonna make a difference, but against this Terrorblade with a Daedalus, it doesn't feel like it's gonna do anywhere near enough. In NGX.SEA, they might spill blood in the water. They are starting to move forward towards that Radiant high ground. They do still have a tier 2 tower in the mid lane to go through, and that's exactly what In Your Dream will get done now. And of course, there is still a top tier 2 tower, but that's going to be taken out by Alacrity. The rest of NGX.SEA, again, I suppose it goes back to what you kind of talked about with them, John. They just want to be able to control the map and keep that net worth advantages going their way.
And they do that really damn well. We saw it in game 1. They were holding on really well, building on their gold. This time, Talon are just completely overwhelmed. They don't really have any part of the map under their control. Bot jungle still a little bit open, but their output still standing. Maybe that's where they start to set up some of these wards to set up a farming position for Savage to keep that build up. He does have the goal to buy out the full AC. He's going to have that sooner rather than later at the very least here. Does feel like he needs more. Is working towards a Wind Waker next, just to have a way of saving himself, I suppose, in the middle of these fights, you know, stalling out for time, and maybe just linking up a target while he gets the static link off. Soulbind plus Yult's and static link is pretty good. KP cutting off the top creep wave is being stalked by Alacrity and Boomboy, but they're not able to find him just yet. Could be punished if he does go for this creep wave, though.
Yeah, Joe Cam is actually chasing In Your Savage down. Joe Cam, nice start out, does break the Linkens, it does commit the Doom now. Savage in big trouble. Alacrity gonna show up, and now a hook shot. Hyde gonna try and save with the cogs. It's gonna lock him in anyway. He couldn't find a way to get the cogs pushback going. Instead, Hyde will be forced to TP away, but NGX.SEA, another very valuable pick-off for themselves. That's Savage down with our buyback. That's a huge deal.
And he's 100 gold away. No real bounties to take to kind of get that done here as well for the side of Talon. And defense is going to be pretty damn tough now for Talon with a full minute and 10 without Savage. NGX has a big opening. Age is still up for a minute 40. Lots of time left. Metamorphosis ready to go on In Your Dream. They could just look for the committal. KP still trying to cut off the waves, though, just playing top. Jokam is keeping eyes on him. Might be able to punish this as well if they want.
See if they can. Then they do. Fiend's Grip is out from Boomboy just in the nick of time. Surely no getting away here for KP, though. He can try with the BKB and the Unleash. He's actually going to try. The life steal is there from the sidekick. KP, he's out. Joe Cam, though, with the jump back in. Stun out. KP, he can keep punching, and he will do so. With the sidekick up once again, KP just needs a target to hit, but they finally get him. In Your Dream, able to take the kill and put himself on a godlike spree now on this Terrorblade. Happy days for NGX.SEA.
Some great stalling from KP, though. That prevents the high ground committal. There's enough time for Savage to respawn, and you do have buyback in KP. So he does die, loses life, but he forces NGX to rotate a lot of your heroes up top, gives some time to de-push the lanes, and gives some time for that respawn. So the high ground defense for Talon feels a little bit easier to manage with Savage back up. Mikado just trying to shove in the bot, get a lane going for themselves, while the rest of NGX is looking to be on the offensive. And does begin in earnest now.
Tier 3 top tower. Gonna be under siege. Makoto trying to chip away at them, but again, they still got the Aegis up for 15 seconds. So In Your Dream, feeling safe at least for now, but Talon looking to time this well. 9 seconds now for that Aegis timing. Mizu being a nuisance in the mid lane, but now Coil is out. In Your Dream, fighting against the Dark Portrait, is going to sunder Boomboy. The Aegis does end up expiring. Refresher Orb is also coming up In Your Dream, so he will have double Metamorphosis. And does have it available right now if he wishes. But it seems like NGX.SEA are going to back off before taking that top racks. They aren't going to risk it.
You can just see how much damage Q does. Goes for the Inkful play on his Dark Portrait of the Terrorblade. Gets a good amount of damage, forcing the Sunder out, forcing a lot out as the Aegis was expiring on In Your Dream. Talon,
yeah, jump in. They've got the Spider, rather the Brood in control here as In Your Dream going to try and force the fight. Does make the jump in. Alacrity still fighting back. Now Savage might need to run back and does do so. His Hyde may have been left behind, but he'll pop the jet lag and make a run for it. As they come in again, Savage going to try and force the fight. Savage! Oh, what was the idea there? Whatever it was, John, it wasn't going to work.
Savage just a bit too far forward. The rest of his team was on the retreat. Good Doom out onto Mikato to prevent any jump back in. He does have buyback here in Savage. Does not have the Eye of the Storm and doesn't have his BKB or refresh ready. So it's going to be a tough one to take. NGX, big opening for them to start finding this high ground here.
That it is. Jump in, Mikoto. Again, chipping away. They might just need to commit this buyback. If they do go for a secondary Rax here, Talon won't really have too much of a choice. They are using this Dark Portrait very effectively, though. If with the Psychic being added to it, just for that extra bit of damage and the life steal coming out. And in fact, they are not going to lose the top racks, but they are going to lose the mid-tier 3 tower. So now, no racks being taken, but both the top and mid racks are both open now for NGX.SEA whenever they want.
Yeah, there's a double damage rune as well for NGX.SEA to pick up. They don't have vision over it, but they do manage to scout out for the power rune. It's going to be really big on In Your Dream for the next high ground siege here. Does not have Metamorphosis up for a little bit of time, but will be able to just outright buy an Ags if he wants to. Doesn't have quite enough. I mean, he could just try to buy it and save up for the Ags Blessing to free up the slot, but he will lack buyback if he goes for the all-in. So we'll see what the choice is for In Your Dream here. Talon, again, in a very tough position for this high ground defense. And we're just at that stage of the game where NGX have massive lead and just better scaling on every single hero. They just have so much room to play this game. For Talon, they rely a lot on some big plays. They need a good Dark Portrait out. They need a good Soul Bind out. Very big Dream Coils have to come through from Mikado. And even Hyde has to find the right targets with his hookshot. And all of that has to connect together. Very tough when you have all of this up on NGX. Octarine up on Lactity. More uptime in the Dragon form. Ags out on In Your Dream. Full Blessing, freeing up the slot. Has a Terror Wave to play with, cutting off the initiation of Talon as well. And more uptime for Metamorphosis. And it just feels like for NGX, maybe just play safe if they want to. Wait for next Roche, minute and a half away. But they have all the tools you need to just kind of end this game if they want to.
They certainly aren't, though, John. I mean, 16k advantage. They are being very conservative with the way they play this. Maybe just waiting for the next Roshan up, which is in about a minute. Rest of Talon trying to get their own net worth going here. Still very far behind, and again, the Razor just not working out against the TB. So you can see Jocam towards the bottom side trying to hunt around for something on this Doom. Hoping for a straggler, but is going to find nothing. Meanwhile, Mizu, he'll keep the top lane forced in with these Spiderlings being committed. They might just lose the range racks because of this. There's no kind of, no way to burst through them here, and they do. Free racks for the side of NGX.
Just one range still helps in shoving out that top wave. And NGX, again, just solidifying their position. Keeping up that network, keeping up the build-up in Your Dream. Savage still trying to work onto that Wind Waker, does have buyback gold on hand. Mikado working onto his overwhelming blink. That could be one way to kind of handle those illusions. Get a good jump in on the puck. Already has the Octarine as well for more uptime. And KP, he's just kind of been stuck at this Basher. Still trying to go into the Lincolns for some protection. Does get spotted though.
He does. Jocam, immediate jump in with the Doom. Is Alacrity going to try and follow up, but needs to land that stun. Still, Jocam is getting plenty of damage off. Even a Fey Grenade out. Oh, come on, look at this. The Spiderlings. They weren't even being micro, John. They just get in the way of KP.
Yep, just stop him off. Everything lining up against KP there. And with the Marcy down, that's an opening for NGX to try for Roche once more. Refresh, Ags Blessing up on In Your Dream. Free Ags coming out here as well for NGX to pick up. Could hand that over onto Boomboy for more utility coming through from the grip. And no response from Talon. Just not in a position where they can dip outside their base and contest. Opening up the high ground once more for NGX. Possibly looking for the end game now. Talon backs against the wall here. Going to be a tough hold. NGX, everything on hand to drag this out into game 3. Let's see if they find that opening. But again, it just feels a lot easier for NGX. For Talon, this game just gets harder and harder as time goes on.
It certainly does. NGX.SEA looking to go through that top lane once again. Aegis up, so there's really nothing to be afraid about here. They are still missing KP for Talon, so they may be forced to commit that buyback. It does seem like NGX.SEA are going to try and make that happen right now. In Your Dream will move in. They will try to chip away, but again, this Terrorblade, he's a tanky boy. He's got multiple lives and a cheese, for that matter. He will just sunder casually. His teammates making sure he is going to remain full HP. That they do jump in again. Savage is around this time around. They do chip away at the TB quite effectively, and NGX.SEA, well, they might just back off.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Yeah. Talon does stall out long enough for KP to be back up, so they can kind of get that defense going. They don't have any towers left, though. So they're actually just completely exposed. They have to clear out the creep waves themselves, put their bodies forward. And NGX still have a lot of angles. Alacrity patiently waiting in the wings. Savage opting to go in for the team and will just chip away. Use Terrorblade illusions, just get what they can, or at least get some info out as well as to where Talon's waiting. And NGX actually back off a bit. Maybe just looking for a better position, waiting for that Doom to come off cooldown. Going to be up in 8 seconds, and with the refresh on Jocam, double Doom gonna make it a lot tougher once more for Talon.
They do. NGX.SEA is still hanging around. Mizu. I mean, they're controlling the maps. There's just no reason for them to back out of here. Still bot lane. It is open. No tier 3 tower. He's going to be there to defend, though we did see In Your Dream having a lot of problems trying to push high ground. Alacrity has popped that Black Dragon form once again, and they are going to try to move in. They do lose all their spinelings here, but Alacrity, nice Dragon Tail initiation onto Hyde, but there's your disposed back. Fiend's Grip is holding down KP, though. They're going to lose the Marcy, but he does have buyback available, just not committing it yet. With the Soulbind, though, they might get the Aegis on In Your Dream. At least the first life as the hook shot is there. He's still not dead, but does finally go down. And here come the buybacks. They want that secondary life. They found the Broodmother onto In Your Dream. They go, but the 4 staffs away is there from Boom Boy. Still Makoto going to jump right back in, wanting the team fight. In Your Dream, he'll pop the Terror Wave, trying to force the fight out with the Metamorphosis. They might have Hyde with a dieback of the Clockwork. He'll go for the Cogs pushback, but it's not going to be enough. Nice pick up there from NGX.SEA. Still Talon are trying to force a bit more, trying to punish In Your Dream, but now with the real Metamorphosis, he does pop it. Last time was a Terror Wave. Makoto gonna back out, but there's another Soulbind out from our Grinchbreaker Savage. He's gonna go for the link out, but he's been caught out with the Doom. He's just a sitting duck. They will just get right to work, but all the damage has been sapped away from In Your Dream. He can't keep the fight going. In fact, now he's in big danger. He sunders, but he's the same HP. He's the same HP as before. And I suppose Talon, they have found a way to defend.
None of the racks even fell to the creep waves as well. Talon do a fantastic job of holding on. That did cost them 2 diebacks on Hyde and KP. But really, the start for sure right now is Mikado. He's jumping in. He's really abusing that lower cooldown the Octarine gives him on the overwhelming blink, on the orb, just jumping in and out, constantly forcing NGX to think twice about their movements, and they're not able to catch that puck out. Like, they've got the Doom, they don't want to commit it necessarily onto Mikado. He's just so slippery with that Octarine that it's actually keeping Talon in the game. NGX gonna have to take a seat back, maybe consider waiting for next Roche. That was them trying to push high ground with Aegis. Doesn't pay off, and like Fear said last time on panel when he was on, he did say that as well. It's like, alright, we lost the high ground push, we just wait for next Roshan, I guess, because we lost with Aegis, so we're gonna need Aegis for high ground. And that's a lot of time for NGX to wait here.
Oh, they've got the Doom. Jocam is going to drop. Now Boom Boy trying to defend the racks, but he could be in danger. Savage will not chase too much further as the Glimmer Cape is going to save the Bane, but suddenly Talon are onto the high ground. 55 minutes into the game. They want to put an end on this one, or at least get a bit of an even trade going on these Raxes. It's Makoto even picking up the Reverend's Brooch now. Hell of a lot of damage being dealt by that as he does make the jump in under the Bane, but he's right back out. No stress, they just want one lane of barracks and they want to get out of there. Nice juke out from Alacrity. Inkswell, or rather Dark Portrait, is taken off the dragon as Boom Boy has to feed script it just to get away. But they do get the mid-racks. And Talon, I can't say they're ahead of the game, John, but they are somehow making a comeback happen.
And this is where it gets really obnoxious, Mike. You're dealing with late game puck. And late game puck is actually just so slippery. Like, I've had a lot of games actually go like a full, almost like 80 minutes off the back of a puck just playing like a madman. His talents are just busted. You get Dreamcall Rapid Fire, you've got damage flying through every single time you phase shift out. You have such low cooldowns on your Blink, on your Orb, on your phase shift because of the Octarine. You've got so much damage output with a Revenant's Brooch doing a ton, especially to something like a Terrorblade and Dragonite. That is really good source of magic damage coming through. And for NGX, they still have that big threat. It's still a stronger game for NGX towards the late game. But they've got to pick off Mikado. They need to find the puck when he makes a mistake, punish him, and then that's your opening to turn it back.
Oh, hook shot. That was right on the mark in your dream, but just a bit to the left. Unfortunate for Hyde. Are you waiting for next Roshan now, John? Like, a minute 40 to even find out when Roshan's back up. If you're Talon, do you just wait for Roshan, or are you trying to force the fight right now?
I think Talon should try to force the fight. It's NGX that feels like they're under pressure to wait for Roche. Because again, they took that last engagement onto the high ground, trying to get the push in with Aegis protection with Cheese. And it didn't pan out. So you as a team, you start thinking, all right, we had Aegis, it didn't work. We're going to need Aegis again if we want to try to make it work. Because obviously, if you lose with Aegis, then you're just going to outright lose without it. Or at least that's the mindset when you're playing game. I think NGX just gonna have to try and stall. They do have really good D push, but look at Talon, they're stepping forward. They're not stuck in their base anymore. They've got some map control to play with. They've got some pressure to show on the map. NGX do go for a smoke play. Might catch someone off guard if they're not careful here on Talon's end.
NGX.SEA gonna rotate around. Trying to find that initiation as Doom is out. Jokam, he's caught KP again, but he's got the Wind Waker to survive through. This is Savage. He's going to make the move in. Alacrity in a bit of trouble. In your dream, the Cogs is blocking his way, but he's going to make his way over now onto Makoto. They've got the puck doomed up. It's a great time here for NGX.SEA as they'll find the puck at least once, but Makoto is going to buy back. He wants to keep the team fight going towards the left side. Mizu could be in a spot of danger now as the Dream Coil is going to be committed, and Makoto is going to get the rapid fire going, but Hyde is going to drop. So in your dream, he'll find another. Makoto still trying to force the fight, but they can't keep it going. NGX.SEA, they'll take the team fight successfully this time, and it was all off the back of Jokam.
Make it work. This time around, he does manage to get a big target in KP and break up the position of Talon on the low ground. Just they've been hanging around that river for such a long time and not even able to go up high, and gave them a massive vision disadvantage. NGX managed to make use of that well, and now Roshan is up. So NGX should have the confidence to go into the Roche, take that objective, go back onto the high ground, clear out some of these racks, and put the game back in their control. It still does feel like it's in their control, but the momentum swing from Talon has been causing the side of NGX to play a bit more cautiously. Mizu does cut out the Roche. Not going to take too long for In Your Dream to clear that out. The side of Talon can't really go for the contest. I mean, Mikado could try for some brave plays, but probably just going to play it safe, wait for the response and the rest of their course. And again, if you look at Talon, I mean, they managed to hold up against the multiple lives of In Your Dream, against the Cheese on Alacrity before. I think they're still going to be pretty confident in trying to hold high ground once more. So they should be able to try to make it work. Refresh card up on In Your Dream is pretty damn obnoxious, though. And that could be really the big tool for them to just take these prolonged fights that Mikado is constantly disrupting. And Talon, their backs are still against the wall. You know, they're still behind 26k net worth. This is a 46k net worth Terrorblade. And we're about to hit that 60-minute mark, Mike. So neutral items are going to be up. NGX has the room to farm up a couple if they want. Talon can't really dip outside their base, considering what they traded off in the last fight. They're not going to be able to find some of those big, juicy items themselves. Like, Giant Spring would be pretty big on Savage, adding to his EHP. Not going to be there. You get the Stygian Desolator up for NGX to have more damage coming through, melt these objectives faster. Mizu's going to be holding on to that. And yeah, they're just going to go for the safe play, clear out camps, find what tier 5s they can. Talon won't be able to do so. Going to be behind in a big way without those neutrals, Mike.
I mean, you've got to go get them right now. If you are in NGX.SEA, just get all 5 if you can and really abuse that advantage you do have. So head over into that Radiant Triangle and allow them a bit of a higher chance with those Ancients to get those neutrals up. Nothing else being found yet apart from that Stygian Desolator, but there's your Fallen Sky now being handed over to In Your Dream. He'll hand that over to Alacrity though. Wants the DK to be able to initiate in multiple ways if he can, or even the Arcanist Armor being picked up now by Mizu. Actually pretty good.
Yeah.
If used correctly.
Damage back. It's pretty impactful. Like that Force Field Aura is so big. 40% damage. Reflection is really annoying, especially considering how Talon does damage. It's a lot of AoE, especially coming out from Mikado. So popping that active is going to be pretty big. The side of Talon, they're not finding it. And they don't have access to their own jungle. They do at least have Force Boots that no one wants to pick up. I think Mikado's pretty satisfied with Spell Prism on hand for more CDR. They do catch out Hyde here.
They do. Hyde is going to get caught out on the clockwork and is going to drop. Another nice kill for NGX.SEA. Have Talon, have they even found one tier 5 yet? Have they hit a creep, John?
Yeah.
A neutral camp?
They
Nope.
found Force Boots. That's it. No one wants to use it.
Oh, that's depressing.
I mean, I guess the only hero that can really use it is, say, Clock, maybe Marcy, arguably, but they have higher priority items, and yet Mikado, again, just wants to stick to that Spell Prism for CDR. Without the Clockwork, this high ground defense is pretty tough.
NGX.SEA gonna make the jump in Your Dream. He'll get to work onto the melee barracks. Again, it seems like it's Mikado that you're gonna be really worried about. In Your Dream does pop the Terror Wave. Cliff is going to be forced down, and again, they just continue to chip away at the creep wave. As In Your Dream is getting a little bit lower, but does pop his own BKB. Even if he does have the Aegis up, he doesn't want to risk anything. He'll take down the melee barracks, and that'll be enough for him. Talon, they will continue trying to hold through this. They already have the melee barracks themselves. See if they can hold their own one, though. It's just very hard. We've got all these Sparklings just rushing in constantly, and Mizu being a real pain, just constantly pushing in different lanes. See those Sparklings go down towards the bottom side, and of course KP can't really protect them. Into the mid lane they go though. Savage has been caught out on the Razor, and he's going to drop immediately perhaps. Fiend's Grip is there, or rather, the Wind Waker is there, and he's going to be able to survive. NGX.SEA, they'll keep going. In Your Dream, BKB wearing out means the Dream Call is going to be thrown out, but the Sunder is there by In Your Dream as he does refresh once again. Into the mid-racks they go. Doom committed. Jokam, he's found a couple. They'll Doom up KP on the Marcy. The Clockwork even dropping. Savage, he's going to try and force the fight, but who do you fight right now? He'll try onto Mizu. Just try running in circles and sapping away all the damage. Is In Your Dream. Still BKB up, and now the Fallen Sky connecting on absolutely everybody from the DK. He landed on all 5 heroes. They've got to run. They can't fight this. Oh, this game is looking so over. NGX.SEA looking to take game number 2. Is In Your Dream. Forced the BKB up once again. Back his way out. Makoto may have gone too far, but not quite. Soulbind will be there as KP tries to make the jump in, but gets nothing for his trouble. Jokam is going to drop. They'll try to abuse the Dark Portrait. Alacrity wants to back off, but so does In Your Dream. They want everyone out at the same time, but KP continues the chase on to at least the Broodmother. Mizu's gonna drop. Alacrity in big trouble now. They got Boomboy. In Your Dream, he's been caught out and bashed by KP, but can they get him? The TB dropping low, but not quite low enough yet. Still Savage does make the jump in again, but there's your hook shot. They've got In Your Dream. The Razor does manage to pick off In Your Dream's TB, but can they keep it going? Their base is under attack right now. There are creeps incoming, but they'll go onto Jokam and the DK. They'll want everything they can get. Jokam about to drop, does do so, as now they can go onto Alacrity and take down the Dragon Knight. There's no buybacks. Oh, all right, Jonathan, we've got a problem here for NGX.SEA. There's only 2 heroes with buyback.
Oh, this is actually scary. Talon can melt objectives really quick. Savage is buying out the Ags now. So Eye of the Storm off, just cut into the tier 4s, only the Terrorblade and DK to defend. And that's a big opening. They buy back in KP. Talon knows they could spell the end, and they're forced to buy back early on Alacrity to try to hold Talon back. Someone's got to stay and keep that deep push here, though.
You've got the Ags up on Savage now as well, so you can strike buildings with the ulti. It doesn't seem like they're going to make their way over. It seems like they're trying to get some tier 5 items going. Or are they? Back into the mid wave they go. Savage. Hide. Make the jump in. They could go for tier 4 towers. I think they're going to try for this, John. You've got in your dreams buyback. He might have to commit it right here, right now, and will do so, but it's a 2v5 situation.
Oh my god.
Oh boy, NGX.SEA, it can't happen like this, man. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. Savage, he'll get to work in your dream. Gonna pop his BKB and Terror Wave early. They'll try to force the fight onto Hyde, onto the clockwork. They'll try for something but Hyde. He's fine. He'll jetpack out of there. Boom Boy, he has brought back and they caught Makoto. It's a great pick off. They'll catch the puck. They'll protect the Ancient. And Talon, they will not be able to finish this game off quite yet, if ever.
Yeah, MGX managed to buy the time. They're forced to buy back. It does pay off. Fortunately, Makoto gets a buyback goal right in the nick of time off the back of those bounty Savage finds. So not the end of the world yet for Talon. That does complicate the process onto that high ground, as they're dealing with pretty much super creeps in every wave except for top. The one melee racks holding off from the full mega creeps up from NGX. Roshan will see the respawn in about half a minute. So NGX could just go for Roshan number 6, at this point 5 or 6, and just kind of try again onto the high ground. Talon, I mean, they've been holding on really well. Their damage has been good. The mobility of Makoto has been a big factor of that. They do catch out Hyde. If they force the fight here without the puck, that could be NGX's opening to end the game.
Well, Jokam's been very good with his initiations. So again, you can't forget about that Fallen Sky either, Alacrity. She has the, no, he does switch over the Fallen Sky now. Roshan, though, 2.5 minutes away from spawning up. So it's a long timer for the Roshan, which is going to buy more time for Talon to get these tier 5 items going. They've still only got 2, I think, out of the 5 they could have, and yeah, that is the case. They gave the Apex over to KP. He's going to be able to use that primary attribute kind of stat stacking a lot better than everyone else, I think, but they need more items than that.
Yeah, I mean, just having this really tanky Morty, 4.8k HP with a lot of armor, it can be pretty tough to deal with. And the side of NGX are looking like they will again just wait for next Roche. A minute 40 until that's up. Talon have enough time to have Makoto back in and look to fight back if they want to this time. They've been very comfy fighting against Aegis though. And I think that could mean Talon just gives another Roshan away with how well they've been holding off, but it still feels like NGX has all 2. I don't even know anymore. It just feels so close. Like, it's on Razor's edge here, Mike. Like, yeah, NGX has the advantage. Haha, Razor's edge, yeah. I don't realize it when I'm saying it. So, 8k advantage for NGX. They've got the scaling of the Terrorblade. But Talon is somehow holding on. Off the back of Mikado, off the back of Q with some good Dark Portraits to hold back. Like, he's just constantly getting this DK Dark Portrait, clearing out the creep wave. They can't actually push because the Black Dragon is doing a lot of work as well for the side of Talon, and it just forces them to wait for Roche. And Mikado's back up, and this time around Talon are looking to play. They smoke up. They've got Mikado back in. He managed to hold onto his buyback, which he still has gold for as well, and they can actually look to fight back against these objectives here.
Oh, jump in, Jokam. He's gonna find Hyde. That'll be a clockwork gone immediately. KP, he tried to make the jump in himself, but that's going to be Hyde down for 2 minutes. A massive opening now for NGX.SEA. Without the clockwork, it's going to be very hard to fight into this Roshan. So Alacrity actually has to pop his own BKB and retreat there. So again, the Dark Portrait is being very annoying here from this Grimstroke. Talon, they might have to accept that the Roshan will go the way of NGX.SEA this time around. I don't think they want to fight 4v5, especially without the clock. But man, how do you fight against the Aegis 69 minutes in, John?
I mean, they've done it before. I don't know if it's enough to really change it. It's all down to execution. NGX, sometimes they just overcommit on the high ground. This time it should be simpler. They only have 1 racks to push their bodies against, and then they can go straight for the tier 4s. They've got more defensive items out. They've got the full Aeon Disc out on Boomboy, and that should give them more options to counterfight here. Full complement of every item once more on the side of NGX. Refresh up for In Your Dream. Actually, yeah, Ags out onto Jokam, so upgraded Doom with a break. Gonna be massive and trying to hold some of these heroes down as well. And for Talon, they've got to keep trying to pull those miracles off. NGX, they've still got the edge. They've got 14k buff. They've got Aegis. They've got Cheese on hand. They've got a lot they can play for. And for Talon, they've done it twice before, Mike, against the Aegis. They're going to need to do it one more time in the hold and try to go onto the high ground for tier 4s. How is this game still going? Like, it just speaks to how well Talon plays. NGX, I mean, they've had this edge for a while. They still do. Like, this is still their game to lose more than win, right? Like, they've got the advantage. They've got everything you could ask for. Only one more racks to go. But somehow, Talon just holds on. They just do.
But they do, Jonathan. They're trying to abuse these Alacrity Dragon Knight illusions, but again, the Dark Portrait just keeps getting taken off them. So they don't really mind. Like, send your illusions in, we'll take the Dark Portrait ourselves, we'll push your dragon back out, and then we'll push the waves with this dragon. Like, oh, and now Dagons are coming out. I mean, why the hell not? You may as well.
Yeah, just look for more damage. We do get a pause.
Of course we do.
As it's 71 minutes. Maybe a quick disconnect, reconnect. Maybe a toilet break as well.
No toilet breaks, John.
Go. Everyone. Oh, I guess NGX will use this time as well for the toilet. It is 71 minutes.
Yeah. The way I see it, right, in Dota Pro matches, right, like, you shouldn't be allowed to go to the toilet. Right, because you can't, like, stop a footy match to go to the toilet, can you? Like, if you're watching the soccer...
That's their problem. That's their
exactly
problem
right.
in soccer, Mike.
You're a professional. They're professionals, John.
Well, I mean, they do have pause time, you know, that you can freely use. So, you know, it is what it is. I wouldn't want to see buckets around the team houses, Mike. We have cams. We can see if there are buckets or bottles set up. I would rather not. So I'm happy with this compromise.
It's all part of the game. It just adds another depth. It adds another depth to the game, John.
It adds another color. You know, a very specific color that I'd rather, again, not want to experience. I mean, that is true gaming. It does look like NGX are actually, yeah, on a bit of a toilet break. You know, shake it off, stand up, stretch. It's been an hour of sitting down. Get the blood flowing. Don't get it stuck in your legs. Just freshen up. Maybe this break is to the benefit of NGX, getting to shake it off. And get themselves focused in with that 14k lead here, Mike.
We do have the go-ahead now.
Man, I want to mention this as well before we go on. Look at Q. He's got Octarine. Look at the uptime of that Dark Portrait. 26.3 cooldown with 25 duration on the illusion. It's basically almost always up. So he's just able to constantly spam out the Dark Portrait, which is why they've been able to hold on. And again, pop Dark Portrait, have that fight out against the Dark Dragon Knight illusion, and just get going. It does switch back to human form when the dragon form expires, so that is pretty funny, but they hold on here. He's even got the telescope. His cast range on Dark Portrait is literally almost the entire screen from end to end. So yeah, have fun sieging against that, NGX. How?
Well, there's a double damage, John. That might be how. Alacrity gonna pick up a double damage rune for himself. This is when things get very fun for NGX.SEA, I'm sure, is they've got one racks to take before Megas are up. Now, I realize we're, 72 minutes into the game, John. Chances are Megas aren't going to be enough. And keep in mind, for Talon's sake at the very least, they've still got some scaling, John. They've only got 2 T5 items so far. They've still got 3 T5 items to get lucky with. You get an Ex Machina like in your Dreams God right now, you're going to be very happy. Especially if you're Savage.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd want. Let's see if they get the room. They don't really have the room to get that done, though. And again, Q just doing God's work and pushing wave. Like they actually don't have an access point on NGX. They're just playing the jungle, waiting for maybe Talon to dip outside themselves. They are not. So they're just stuck here. And I don't know what to say. We've got Dagon 2, Dagon 3 on Q with buyback at the ready. I don't know anymore, Mike. You saw the Dreamcoil Rapid Fire. You know what's fun about that? You pop the Remnant's Brutron. You get that Phantom Provenance up. Phantom Province up.
Yeah.
And the damage is, it's kind of ridiculous with that Witchblade passive. 1x their int. That's 124 plus the 99 magic damage to go through all that armor on the DK and TB. And they are actually really just sending illusions waiting for an opening. If Talon don't give an opening, I don't know what you do. Aegis, minute and a half from the 5 minutes. Like, if it expires, what do we do next, NGX? Do we wait for next Roshan? Is that the game plan?
I told you, John, my toilet break rule, it would have had this game over ages ago, trust me. Right? Now we could go on for like 5 hours, and they could take unlimited toilet breaks, and that's all your fault, John, because you didn't agree with me. Live on cast. We could have had the whole rule book changed.
Nah.
But you just didn't agree.
I would like to break our personal record of 95 minutes as our longest game cast, and I'm like, let's make it happen. 120. Hyde! Right on record, Hyde! That's why we're brothers. That's why we're on Talon, man.
There's something going on here. There's these Talon boys, they know too much. It's all
Great
part
timing,
of the script.
Hyde.
If Talon win, it's all part of the script. JohnxFire's up to something here.
I am a pretty good script writer, Mike. You know, I've gotten accolades from the Academy Awards. You wouldn't know it. I got a special screen name there in the guild. And, yeah, Mizu gives the definitive no. Hyde's like, okay.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, Mike. It's 75 minutes. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point.
It's not that long, John. Ghetto, you'll be right. We're going to start saying the F word again, do we? Is that how we're going to wake you up again?
Absolutely. Just have our entire Twitch stream banned off. There we go. That's how we do it, Mikey. Doom out?
Lane.
What?
Yeah. Doom committed onto Hyde. Hyde looks very cool with those Doom animations. Top Rax is still being protected though. Savage, he is not moving. NGX.SEA, they've got to make a push sometime. The thing is, they understand one lost team fight and you could be in trouble. 15k net worth lead for NGX.SEA. Doesn't matter. You're 75 minutes in. I don't think gold matters anymore. Like, it really just doesn't. No. This is the part of Dota where things just start getting ultra stupid.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mikado. 12k in the bank, 6k surplus for the buyback. Could easily buy out his refresh. He's out of slots for items at this point. And he literally is. He's going to have to play around with his backpack on the refresh, on the travels. He doesn't have a clean angle for his courier to go into the secret shop, though, so he can't really buy out. I wonder if they've had merienda. You know, like, would a merienda break be feasible? You don't want the toilet break, but how about a merienda break, Mike? You know, call a pause.
You can't do that. No.
Get some pancit. Get some Indomie going. No?
These are professional athletes, Jonathan. They don't need merienda every 2 seconds like you do, sir.
Well,
they need to play the damn game and win is what they need.
You know what I know they would need, Mike? At this point in the game, they'd need some mate. Get that energy going. Shout out to our partner, mate, of course.
Hold on, wait. Sidekick gives you BKB?
Yeah, it's a level 25 talent.
Oh, remember? It does too.
It used to be, I think, it used to be level
hero.
20. It used to be like 20 or something when it launched. So it was just like the LC talent, or the LC shards. It's pretty fun. Now it's all the way 25.
I played a total of 1 game on Marcy, John, ever since she came out. 100% win rate, I might add, but it's about as far as I'm going to go with the hero, John. That's about as far as I've gone.
Good on you, Mike. She's a fun hero.
Oh, look at that, John.
That's why KP chose to pick her. Ooh.
Look at that. Pirate Hat has been found. Very valuable item in a 77-minute game when you can't end it, John. Just infinite gold hack.
They'll always have buyback in Talon's End. Guaranteed, as long as they keep digging. They will keep digging.
No one's taken it. Someone take it. It's a bounty rune at 77 minutes. There we go. KP's gonna do it. He'll take 2 tier 5 items.
Yeah, why not? Dig, switch, doom out again.
Who got doomed?
Hyde. They got Hyde.
Hyde. He'll get doomed. He'll get fiends ripped. He'll die. Fair enough. I'm waiting for the real team fight to break out. Like, Hyde can die a billion times and, you know, it doesn't really matter that much unless it's a dieback. Double damage rune? That's a big one.
I mean, we've seen that before on Alacrity, though. Haven't we? We've seen it with the DD, and they still just don't commit. So, we'll see if they're willing enough with a hero advantage. I'm guessing they know buybacks already on Talon's End. And, yeah, they hold on. Dig. This is Dig on 5 again. Now on Q.
Hold on, John. This is an actual team fight breaking out. I've got to cast this one in your dream. He's going to go for the Rax immediately, though Savage is going to move in, try to get this Rax defended. They can't get it. It's still standing. I just can't believe it. And that's it. They might just be done. Are they going to go back? Surely.
Do they wait for next Roche here, Mike? 2.5 minutes. They could wait.
Here we go again. Injured Dave's going to try again. I believe he's going to try again, John. More illusions. Where's Q? Get the Dagon out, Q. There you go.
Yeah. Will the real Terrorblade please stand up?
Oh, that's terrible, John. Are you thinking of OD Pixel because it's a longer game, John? I mean, his game was a lot longer, just so you know. Oh, jump in, Alacrity. Gonna jump in, Joe Cam, nice stun out onto Savage. They might have a team fight to go here, but no, they still don't want it. NGX, they will back off once again, and the racks will remain standing once again.
Yeah, so next rush, 1.5 minutes. NGX, just poke and prod, keep the wave shoved in, and go for next rush, and then try again, and then try, and then try again. I mean, they've got the Wind Waker up in Alacrity, so you can just bail out. Just Meteor Hammer in, get some damage, Wind Waker out. That could be the name of the game. Just constantly chip away at the last racks, force the Megas. You even have the Octarine up on Boomboy. So, Witty Ags, cooldown on Grip is 41 seconds. Yeah.
I love it. Beautiful. Absolutely spectacular. Still 2 tier 5 items missing here for Talon, by the way, John. They've still got scaling to do here.
Yeah.
Do people just not care about tier 5 items? Like, is it just they're not good enough, I guess?
I think it's more that Hyde was trying to farm it for the team, and that's why he died. He's the one clearing out creep waves. Savage is a bit far forward here, though.
He is, but they're going to jump in. Unleash has been committed. They'd love in your dream. Makoto, KP, making the jump in, but they won't commit all the way. But they'll get the BKB out as a soul bind. Is going to be committed onto the DK in your dream, and now the side the Vice is out in your dream. He's dropping way too low. Trying to back out of it, but he might be going down, and he is. Luckily, he does have buyback, though. There's mid-racks. Oh, the ancient Mizu. He's going to get the job done, surely. The Spilings are onto it. Aeon is blocked. Mizu's had enough. Surely they've got it. He needs a few more clicks, Mizu. Has he tried a bit too early? No. It does seem like he has. He's going to drop to boot. Buyback's committed. They might just have to rush the ancient, John. Savage, he's in trouble. This might be the opening for NGX.SEA. They do get a kill off onto Savage, but he'll commit his buyback immediately. Surely they just go ancient.
They've got to. Dream Coil down for a bit longer.
Q setting up again. They jump in though, Alacrity. He's onto the ancient once again. The Savage is static linking away. The ancient dropping too low though. It's all over. God. It's all over. They tried. They tried to make it work, Talon. A very long game coming out. NGX.SEA, they're so happy. I would be too, John, if I was stuck in a game that long. I would be very, very happy as they make the jump in for the ancient. They just had enough of the game. And well, what do you do, John? I mean, for Talon, it's going to be a bit of a heartbreaker. As you know, they lost game 2 after 80+ minutes. You do get a game 3, so it should... Never been... I was going to say, John, it's... Can't be that far away from you. I get a little bit antsy, you know?
It's because of the F word you gave, Mike. You know, they figured, they want to be a part.
Well, anyway, back to the point. Talon, probably a little bit annoyed after that game. NGX.SEA, very, very happy after that game. We are going to be on to a game 3, John, but before we do head off to a break, do you have any things to say about this game?
I don't think Talon would be annoyed. I think they'd be equally happy. Because with that kind of game, you mentally get into NGX's headspace where you're holding on for a good half hour where it felt like they shouldn't have. There were like 3 Aegis attempts into high ground that didn't work. They reached a point where they're buying Dagons in the sport. Talon managed to hold on a lot longer than I think I personally expected with that kind of draft and the timings they hit. And I think NGX, it's a good win for them. They drag it onto game 3, but they've got to find a way to find or win conditions and play around them a lot better than it did here in game 2, because it felt like it dragged on way too long giving those openings to Talon.
It certainly did, John, and that's why we have to head off to a very short break. But right after that break, we'll be back with game 3's draft between NGX.SEA and, of course, Talon.